This is the default arrangement on the desktop for Corel Painter 2015. After you've worked with the program for a while, you're certainly going to want to make some changes to accommodate your way of working. One way to do that is simply to create the arrangement that you like and save it. I'm going to do that by dismissing the Navigator panel. I'm also going to eliminate this information down here, which I never look at, the RGB or could be HSV. In any case, it's the color info, and so now that's gone, and I can squeeze this into a smaller space. I like layers, so I'll keep those, and I also like color variability. Let's see if I can find that in my brush controls panels. That should be way down there. Color variability, yes. So that should be opening for me. I will simply drag it over to where I want it to be and dismiss everything else. Now, I do want to have one of my custom palettes, at least one, open when I launch the program. I'm going to choose Basic Drawing, and now that's up. I can stretch it out if I wish. And now let's say I'm satisfied with this arrangement, and I will save it as Basic Drawing. So let's click OK. And now I can find that in my list of palette arrangements. There are some others that were provided with the factory settings that I have not created. New brushes, for example, will allow you to immediately have access to the controls for those marvelous particle brushes that we looked at in a previous session. Let's see what happens when we choose illustration. This should give us an arrangement that might be more appropriate for illustration work. And there's also a palette arrangement for photo art. Let's see what that looks like. With photo art, we are given a number of options for image manipulation, and that's something you might want to explore. We also have the clone panel, and we will look into clone in a future movie. So let's go back to the one that I saved, that I just created, Basic Drawing, and there it is. There's something else I'd like to customize that will involve going into Painter's Preferences. For Interface, this is where I want to change the vertical single column for my toolbox to a vertical double column. I also want to change the media layout from vertical single column to a horizontal single row. These other items you may recall from another session. Here's where you choose the kind of icon you want to see in your custom palette. Here's where you choose pixels or other units, and the cursor type that you want to have when your stylus is hovering over your canvas. So I'm satisfied with all of that, and now I see that I have a double column and I have a single row for my media choices. Let's take a look at the upper part of your screen here. We have seen the brush selector. We know what that does for us. We get to choose our categories and our variants here. We've looked at the Search Brushes item, but we haven't really looked at the property bar, which is this item here, and it changes depending on the tool that you have selected in your toolbox. When we have the brush tool selected, there are choices for whether to work freehand or with straight lines. There are some choices for size, opacity, graininess, and some other items that might vary depending on the specific variant that you have selected. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, I'll take you through the entire toolbox.